Hello and welcome to Just the Dis, a YouTube channel, like many, where we talk about Blu-rays. And I thought I would do a little review or reveal or sharing of my Arrow Shocktober Sale haul. So you can see that. I didn't go crazy with the horror. I love Arrow. Arrow is actually one of my favorite labels out there, and I have a lot of their stuff. So as a result, when these sales come around, I tend to push into territory outside of genre sometimes because I have less of their stuff outside of genre. I have some because I love them and because I love what they do. I have, other stuff outside of horror and action and things like that. But with this sale, this is actually the second one I've gone a little crazy with this year. And so I'm pretty good with the stuff in their catalog that I don't have at this point. But let's just get into this. Sorry. Start with Heathers, a classic of sorts, and one that I've owned on Blu-ray at least one other time, maybe twice. But this one had too much good stuff. Here's the one thing I'll say about Arrow 2, especially lately, is they are killing it with their transfers. I don't know that they've ever not been killing it with their transfer. I haven't been too dissatisfied with any Arrow transfer I ever saw. That's one of the reasons I love them. But this one has a new restoration from a 4K scan. I'm not sure if that applies to the... I can't remember. I think it was Image Entertainment maybe that put out the Blu-ray that I have. But from the original camera negative, 4K scan, new, of Heathers, a classic, as I said. That's enough. But then we have, audio commentary with director Michael Lehman, producer Denise DeNovi, and writer Dan Waters, who I think is one of the funniest people in the universe. We had him on Pure Cinema once, and he was one of my favorite guests. So funny. Anyway, Layman's Terms, a newly filmed interview with director Michael Lehman. Pizzicato Croquet, composer David Newman and director Michael Lehman discuss the music of Heathers, and then a whole bunch of other stuff. Some of these might have been on other releases. Scott and Larry and Dan and Heathers, a new interview between screenwriting team Scott Alexander and Larry Karaszewski, who I think is great. We've also had him on the show a bunch. He's one of my favorite people. Follow Larry Karaszewski on Twitter and Instagram because he is awesome, and obviously an incredible screenwriter. Obviously wrote Ed Wood and People vs. Larry Flint, and those guys are great. So anyway, they talked to Dan Waters, and I know they're good friends, so I'm sure that conversation will be wonderful to see. And yeah, there's a few more things on here, but it's pretty solid, folks. Region B locked, at least. Yeah, I think this is in UK only. I think. So that is Heathers. Next we have Bob and Carol and Ted and Alice. This one has definitely gone up in my estimation, and I'm not going to beat around the bush. It's partially due to the fact that, Quentin Tarantino is a big fan of it, and he was programming it at the New Beverly, I feel like multiple times in 2019, leading up to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood coming out, and I think he considers this one of the sort of, I don't want to say quintessential 60s movies because I can't speak for him by any means, but it does seem like an important film, outside of his liking it or not. And he does, obviously. There's also a really great introduction he did for Sony Movie Channel with Kim Morgan. They did a bunch of introductions for a bunch of 60s movies, and they were on YouTube at one point, and I do recommend going and looking up those. Look up Bob and Carol and Ted and Alice Tarantino, and you should be able to get his intro and maybe the outro that they did. Anyway, that's fun too. But this is a really great movie, and it took a little nudge for me to truly appreciate it. Like, I liked it, but I've watched it a few times in the last couple years, and it's definitely hit me even harder. So I think it's a really solid movie, and I already had the Twilight Time version, and I'm going to keep this because this has an audio commentary with film historians Julie Kirgo and Nick Redman. Rest in peace. And I love their tracks. They were one of the reasons that Twilight Time was also a favorite of mine for years. This also has the audio commentary with director, co-writer Paul Mazursky and actors Robert Culp, Elliot Gould, and Diane Cannon, which is a great track, which I'd heard. That's from the DVD, I think. So anyway, that has both, but this has more. This also has, well, now, see, this is where I don't know. It says brand new restoration from its original film elements by Sony. I'm assuming it's probably the same transfer, but I can't be sure of that. And then it has that audio commentary. It has a new audio commentary by film scholar Adrian Martin. Something called Bob and Natalie and Elliot and Diane and Paul. A new video essay exploring the film's themes by filmmaker and critic David Cairns. Something called Tales of Bob and Carol and Ted and Alice, an archival interview with Paul Mazursky revisiting the film's production and release, and reversible cover art. But I like this movie a lot, enough to own 2 copies of it for extras. And it's a really enjoyable 60s film. This one is going to be Region B locked, I think. Yeah. But worth getting, especially at like £7.50. A lot of these were £7.50, whatever that translates to in dollars. Okay, so here's some horror. Hellbound Hellraiser 2, which I've never seen. I had to get it to go with my already owning this Hellraiser Arrow steelbook. And I'm going to do a run of this. I think I've seen, but it's been a long time. And this I've never seen, and I haven't seen Hellraiser 3, so I need to watch that. But I'm going to do like a run of Hellraiser, I think. Anyway, this is awesome. I mean, you guys probably got the box set, right? I mean, of course you did. But if you didn't, I'm happy with this steelbook. And then this also just has a ton of stuff. Brand new 2K restoration approved by the DP. Audio commentaries. I mean, there's too much to even go through. If you're a Hellraiser fan, obviously you probably got the box set. But for me, I'm going to piecemeal it, okay? I'm just going to do that. And then a little City of the Living Dead. Little Fulci. Little Gates of Hell. Oh, wait a minute. I have this too. Yes, I'm a freak, okay? I'm a freak for Fulci. I can't help myself. This one came out first. In fact, this came out in a really nice limited edition, which I can't remember if one of the discs was like a soundtrack or... But anyway, that's long out of print and hard to get. But this is the movie, the main disc from that set. And it is Region B locked. You would need a multi-region player. But ton of special features. Now, I'm not going to Pepsi challenge these two because the features are actually... I have done it, and the features are actually really close. This is taking most of its features from this or wherever this might have ported something over from. So what you've got here for me is 2 transfers. Again, Arrow, a company who I trust to do good transfers, and then Scorpion Releasing, they can be okay, but they really play up this transfer. This is one of the main reasons I got suckered. New 2020 4K color grading and restoration of the film from a 4K scan of the original camera negative. That's some boast-worthy stuff. This just says new restoration from a 4K scan of the original camera negative. So, I don't know if they're taking the transfer from this and color correcting it or what, but I was like, maybe the Arrow transfer is better. I don't know. But I thought, again, I would get both because I really like Fulci and I really like this movie. So now I have two. I don't do that a lot. I've actually been really... I'm sure most of you guys that collect, you tend to sell things off when you buy new stuff or upgrade or double, triple dip. Oh, boy. But I've been doing a little bit less of that. I'm not less of selling off, but less of double and triple dipping sometimes, and more trying to find out, like, what's the absolute? What's the version that I need in my collection? I think one of my hang-ups was I would always want to have a Region A version. I would always want to have some, semblance of a Blu-ray that I could put in any player in my house, as opposed to my one region-free player. And then I was like, that's kind of silly. If the ultimate edition of a movie comes from, Eureka, Masters of Cinema, I don't really need anything else. I can just have that one. So anyway, I started going through, and that's part of the reason I'm doing these Arrow sales, is I'm like, okay, if I have a version of any of these, I'll give you some examples later, then I will sell them, and I will make the Arrow my supreme version, the winner, So anyway, that was part of my logic behind, and these are really cheap. £7.50 is not a lot of money for what you're getting in these. Anyway, a little bit more horror genre adjacent. The Forbidden Photographs of a Lady Above Suspicion. Giallo-y thing. But this one I haven't seen. And that's another thing. At £7.50, I can take a chance on something I haven't seen that I've heard a few things about. And this is definitely one of those. And again, most of these are going to be Region B locked. I should have opened with that. So this is what this looks like. A lot of extras on here too. I'm not going to go through every extra, but I do see one that jumps out right away. New audio commentary by Kat Ellinger. I don't really need anything else. And there is other stuff. So that's great. Kat commentary, I'm good. This one, I only got because it's from the director of Scared Stiff, which is a movie I saw via the Arrow Blu-ray, which I have, and I discovered it, saw it for the first time last year, and it was one of my favorite discoveries that I made. It is sort of a goofy, poltergeisty kind of movie, and I saw that he did this, and I've actually heard people say this is terrible, but my friend Brad Henderson said it's one of his favorite movies. So again, £7.50. I was like, okay, if Brad loves it, and it's from the guy that did Scared Stiff, I'll try it. Why not? Brand new 2K scan from the original camera negative. 2 aspect ratios. Come on. There's a ton of stuff, but this one is all region actually. I really don't know much about this movie. When a group of horny teens wind up on the grounds of a creepy abandoned asylum, they think they found the perfect place to party. I don't really need too much more than that to set this up. I think I know what this is. It's got a brand new audio commentary from Hysteria Continues. That's cool. Yeah, they just do good special editions, people. I know you know this. This is not news. But Doom Asylum. This one I haven't seen in forever. This is another one where Scorpion put out a Blu-ray, but I didn't pick that up. But I was like, oh, Arrows, again, for cheap? Sure. Again, this is Region B locked. In the 1980s, faced with the demise of the drive-in and the rise of the multiplex, New World Pictures... I like how this is starting. The independent studio established by Roger Corman increasingly relied on smaller scale productions made with an eye to cable TV and home video markets. Among these were Defcon 4, an example of so-called Canucksploitation or Canadian exploitation cinema, riding on the coattails of the boom in the post-apocalyptic disaster movies that began in the previous decade. And it says 2 months after the planet is ravaged by nuclear war, astronauts Howe, Jordan, and Walker are forced to return to Earth, now an apocalyptic wasteland consumed by radiation and roamed by cannibal gangs. Forced into desperate pacts with unlikely allies, among them eccentric survivalist Vinny. Oh, Maury Chaykin. Oh, I like Maury Chaykin. The astronauts must draw on all their resourcefulness to survive this brave new world. So, obviously, The Martian just totally ripped this off, right? No, I'm kidding. Yeah, no, this is just one I remember seeing the cover of, and I had the VHS forever. I think I watched it on VHS, but it's gone. It's gone. I don't remember any of that description, really. But, again, cheap enough through this Shocktober sale that I couldn't not do it. So that is Defcon 4. And now we get into a couple classics here. We have Abraham Polanski's Force of Evil. This is a movie that I only know about because Martin Scorsese did a series of VHS tapes. And I'll be darned if I can remember the name of the line. But it included Johnny Guitar. It included, oh boy, what was that one called? A Double Life, I think, was one of the other ones. And, oh shoot, I'm not going to be able to remember all of them now. But Force of Evil is one, and I know he's a huge fan of this movie, and that it was definitely an influence on Mean Streets. And there is and now out of print Olive Films version, but as I said, it's out of print and it's pretty expensive, and it had nothing, no extras at all. So again, this is all region, so there you go. You don't even need a region free player if you want Force of Evil. But this has commentary by critics Glenn Kenny and Farhan Smith-Neme. Big fan of them. Would love to hear their thoughts on this. It has the introduction by Scorsese, which is great. An Autopsy on Capitalism, a visual essay on the production and reception of Force of Evil by Frank Krutnik, author of In a Lonely Street, film noir genre masculinity. Nice. And then commentary on selected scenes by Krutnik. 2 radio plays, Hollywood Fights Back, 1947, 35 Hollywood Stars Protest the Blacklist, and Body and Soul, 1948, a radio version of Polanski's breakthrough script with John Garfield. So a lot of stuff here. So this is definitely the version of Force of Evil to own. And I'm glad it's all region. I didn't even realize that. And then one more classic here. We have The Dark Mirror. This one is also all region. And this one, I don't know this as well. It's got Olivia de Havilland, Thomas Mitchell, directed by Siadmak. Yeah, no, I'm very curious about this one. I'm not going to go into the plot because I don't even want to read it, really. I just read a little bit of it, and I'd rather go into this one a little darker, if you will, in the dark. And so, yeah, this was another... They had a noir set, which included The Big Combo. Joseph H. Lewis is The Big Combo. He, of course, the director of Gun Crazy, one of my favorite noirs. And since I had that already, I didn't want to get the box set. Although, if the sale is still going on when you see this video, the box set is a pretty good deal. It's like the 3 films, and they're Force of Evil and Big Combo in this, and it's good. But so I just picked up these 2 a la carte. Dark Mirror, Force of Evil. And then last but not least, a little Fellini. This is Orchestra Rehearsal. This one recommended, I want to say last year, from my friend Michelle. I think she discovered it, I want to say in 2019. And I think it was on her discoveries list for Rupert Pupkin Speaks, if I'm not mistaken, but don't quote me there. But a Fellini film I have not seen, and there are several of those. But this one intrigued me. It just it sounded fun. It says made in '78 for Italian television orchestra. Why do I keep saying it like that? Orchestra Rehearsal is possibly Federico Fellini's most satirical and overtly political work. An allegorical pseudo-documentary, the film depicts an Italian television crew's visit to a dilapidated auditorium, a converted 13th century church, to meet an orchestra assembling to rehearse under the instruction of a tyrannical conductor. The TV crew interviews the various musicians who each speak lovingly about their chosen instruments. However, as petty squabbles break out amid the different factions of the ensemble and the conductor berates his musicians, the meeting descends into anarchy and vandalism. A destructive crescendo ensues before the musicians regroup and play together once more in perfect harmony. So, I don't know, that sounds interesting to me. You know, new 2K restoration, Richard Dyer on Nino Rota and Orchestra Rehearsal. The film scholar talks about the great composer and his last collaboration with Fellini, which I didn't know. This was Nino Rota's and Fellini's last collaboration. Orchestrating Discord, a visual essay on the film by Fellini biographer John Baxter. I mean, that's enough for me. I mean, the movie sounded intriguing, so... this one is Region B locked, although I think there might have been a U.S. release of this as well. So anyway, that will do it for... I got a bunch of extra stuff in here now. I screwed it all up. Basically, this is it, but you've got a little bit more. Okay. Thank you for watching. I will leave a link to the Shocktober sale in the descriptions below. If you've already taken advantage of the sale and bought some stuff, let me know what you bought. Let me know what you're thinking of buying. If you're seeing this video after the sale, I'll leave links to Amazon if I can, so that you can buy these if you'd like. But thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. I know we all say it, but it is important and I would appreciate it. Have a wonderful day and watch some Blu-rays. Bye-bye.